connected in that way. Um, as we talked about, people note that as possibly the first major label attempt to make what would be later referred to as a concept album. Again, not the concept album as we know it, but an album that has an actual concept going on. Um,
Yeah, when I read that, it was hard not to be like, how is this anything like The Wall? But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Hold on.
yes, in the sense that it's cohesive and it's, has themes. Sure,
Yeah,
I'll allow it. Yeah.
like all albums these days have a concept,
Right. Yeah. I mean, the entire like emo
but they're
genre
not
is
all.
the same concept, but
Yeah,
somebody had to be the first. Yeah.
yeah. So, kind of helping them along in that mission is the fact that the the physical album, which was originally sent out on two 10-inch vinyls, was also being made available in a new format, which was the 12-inch vinyl, and it's the first major release of its kind to use 12-inch, and it made it so we're just speaking of the wall. It's like getting the wall on one CD, right?
Mm.
you only,
I
you
mean,
only,
be kind of cool.
yeah, you only have to flip this once instead of what is it, four times with the 10-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Sinatra when he was recording, he approached all the sessions with the, you know, he wanted to make the music and his vocals feel kind of homey and unrehearsed, to kind of tie them all together too, with a sound and a feeling that was invoking like angst and loneliness and
Mm.
being in the wee small hours basically.
Yeah, I don't know. I
um,
mean, listening to it, I just get this visualization of him sitting on like, a bar stool, with
mhm.
a whiskey in one hand and just kind of sullen and singing into it and letting it rip. And, that may or may not be the actual case, but yeah, you get that vibe from it.
Yeah, and well, I'll tell you. So despite the mandate for that more kind of relaxed sound, the work and like the sessions were very intense and meticulous. Both Riddle and Sinatra were like, you know, the the length of the sessions kind of became the stuff of legend. And, many times Sinatra himself was pushing himself to tears trying to get these just right, or he would cancel whole sessions because he came in and just said, well, something's off with my voice. Um, and he'd put in like Prince like long hours staying in the studio after everyone has left except for like his tape operator. So the one of the famous stories from this album is, reportedly one time he was in there doing this, and a night janitor came through, and he was talking to him. He was like, "Hey, well, he said, quote, geez, what crazy working hours we have, huh? We both should have been plumbers."
I mean,
um,
his mom sent him to business school. Yeah.
yeah, they try.
Too late now, buddy.
Yeah. So here's the after the album notes. After it has come out, as you may have guessed, the album's a big hit. um, it peaks at number two on the charts, but it does stay there for 18 weeks straight. Eventually selling 500,000 copies. Which,
Wow.
I mean, again, we're talking about converting converting sales numbers and stuff like that. I didn't do it, but if getting $75 a week or whatever was a big deal, imagine selling 500,000 copies of your album
Well, I
back in the
think
day when
even
you were
just
actually
that.
probably getting.
Oh, totally. In 18
Yeah,
weeks at that, like that's,
yeah,
4.5, 5 months. I mean, that's
mhm,
pretty damn good.
yeah, and again, this is back in the day when you were probably making mucho money off your own album, unlike unlike these
Or at
days.
least you had an alleged mafia or not mafia friend,
Mhm,
go get some of that money from somebody else if you
mhm.
really needed it.
You could have, yeah,
Allegedly.
he could enforce his contract. We'll see. Um, yeah, its popularity actually cemented the 12-inch LP as the new kind of standard format for records going forward. And And there's an article on a site called everythingjazz.com that says by 1956 Sinatra was the toast of jazz musicians throughout the U.S., mostly because of this album. And in a survey conducted by Leonard Feather for his Encyclopedia Yearbook of Jazz, nearly half of the 120 participants, including Duke Ellington, Stan Getz, Bud Powell, and Miles Davis, all voted him their all-time favorite vocalist.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a good choice, but that's
yeah, that was one of
some
those.
interesting names to be making that claim. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that was one of those fun facts that I hit, and I was like, maybe I need to put this back on with new eyes.
If
So
Miles says
many.
it's the best, then yeah, I guess I'll give it a
Uh,
chance.
well, he said he's his favorite vocalist. So I don't know that it centers around this album. I mean, this album is his kind of coming out party as a more jazzy, clubby, you know, nighttime in the wee small hours type.
It's it's a very childish comparison, or at least I don't know. I feel like it is, but it kind of reminded me of like when Justin Timberlake had his big like solo breakthrough, maybe a decade and a half back, and started winning all the awards. And it's like we remember you from the boy band
Yeah,
days,
it's
and
a
you were always
reinvention.
talented. And then you started getting movies, and you started getting the solo career, and now you're kind of doing your own thing and seeing it as this like really
Yeah,
talented individual artist. And like,
yeah,
I don't, obviously there's plenty of differences within their stories, but at the same time, just that kind of like, oh wait, you are legit. You're not just
hmm
a boy band face. You're actually skilled. You belong.
yeah. It's everybody kind of coming together and giving the flowers to somebody who struck out on their own and did a little, did the work to
Mm,
prove that, hey, I can do this. I'm not just cruising on my old reputation.
right.
Yeah. So there are many artists who reference in the wee small hours as either a favorite album or inspiration. Tom Waits does say it's one of his favorites, and we were tipped off to that from fellow Shadow host Rick Quinn. And actually, the cover for his album, "The Heart of Saturday Night," is a pretty obvious homage to the to the Wee Small Hours cover. There's actually there's actually a whole there's a whole host of album covers that people say like this if you look at it, it's Frank's leaning on uh, I don't know if it's a phone booth or just a wall, but he's in like a he's on like a night street alley leaning leaning on a wall, and then the album title's in the upper left. Yeah. Well,
Here's Mr. Waits.
there's a Tom
Yeah,
Waits version,
yeah.
but yeah, apparently like there's just a whole ton of album covers that are either referenced or inspired by that look. So again, that must be one of those things where you're like, well, I've never lived in a world where people didn't have the album cover where you're leaning on a wall and looking left. But yeah, yeah, like another like breakthrough of Frank's
Very,
apparently.
very iconic. Yep.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's everything I've got on the album history. It was a big old hit. It
Yeah.
I mean I think he was already kind of into the second wind of his career, but this is definitely, the
Yeah. That.
the one that makes the second part of this is where they've solidified the second part of his career possibly being even bigger than his, yeah, like his boy band status.
The capital deal really saved him and gave him this opportunity. And yeah, I mean, from
Yeah, he
here
owes a
on
lot to
till his
that young
passing, he
entrepreneur.
was untouchable, right? I mean, the genre itself maybe gone through some waves in popularity, but the folks that grew up with Frank, loved him as an adult. And I mean, like even my grandparents, had his records on, and Frank and Tony Bennett, those kind of that genre, the kind of the Vegas crooner New York by way of New York type thing. And yeah, I grew up hearing a lot of this stuff, and I don't know. What'd you think overall? I mean, I know we
Yeah,
had our thoughts for sure.
well, okay, so I wrote down here. This was my thought. To be real honest, I think we're gonna have eps like these now and then, and it's and it's okay to have. But and and I think I ran by this by you before, but I was, and, as I went through it, I was way more into like the story of this album than the actual album, and listening to it, I think I've said before here, but maybe it's the Grant Parsons thing where it's hard to appreciate something being the first. Another thing that kind of hits me this way was this one clocked for me a little better, but like when I'm watching Citizen Kane
Mm.
and I'm watching it, and it's hard to appreciate just how much of the modern cinema look and techniques and things that are invented in that
Through the
movie.
prism of everything after it, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
like
it
right.
it you watch it and you're like, well, okay, I'm watching a very old movie that feels a little more like a modern movie, but like the thing is, there's nothing before that that feels that way.
Right. This is, I
So
mean,
it
yeah,
I I
this is
I
Christopher
can
Nolan 90, 80, 90 years
yeah,
ago. Yeah.
I kind of when I read about it doing, kind of inventing the whole conception of the of the album that we know, that, I mean, it bolstered its reputation to me, but like still like sitting down and running through it was, I never had a big aha moment. There's only like a couple tracks where I'm like, I really like these, but a lot of them made me feel like we were back on the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the backing band and the orchestra, it feels very much like, a Disney like it's almost like Disney movie music.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that his vocals aren't like really really good, which
Yeah. It's
which
like
they are.
exactly like objectively, it's all really well done. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of like what mileage do you get out of it. I mean, for me personally, it felt a little monotonous, but like that's a symptom of the me and that the relationship with that genre. I don't
Hmm.
feel like it's you're talking to, acid jazz prog guy here, like I need long, drawn out, complicated, unrepetitive things. This album was very much in a good way, like this very much stuck to its guns of what it wanted to do, what it wanted to sound like. So, it and it also I don't think it had like that catchy register moments like, some of his more popular songs do.
That's
Like it was very poetic, it was very
Yeah, that was
heartfelt.
that was another problem. It's hard not to pop over to other Frank
Hmm.
hits and like songs that we know, and like even just listening to My Way for putting together. Where I was trying to put together the like a karaoke theme song, or doing the Noel Way
Oh yeah.
intro. Like you listen to that and you're like, God damn, like those are those are outstanding. This
And
is this
yeah.
is very much like a C. It's I think I forgot who I said it to, but this is his sea change, right? Like
Oh yeah, it's a very
he's
honest album, and like
yeah,
there's a lot to be said for that. But
yeah,
it's not it's not Frank that we know,
yeah.
which
Absolutely
is
would not
again,
call it bad, but absolutely would call it either not my thing, or just not at this moment. Something that could
right.
be my thing, and I
And it
and I
becomes
and I
what
really
yeah.
yeah, I really don't doubt, the Sinatra fans that you see while you research this album, that say like, oh, this is his secret masterpiece, slash classic. But I do also think that may be coming from a person or persons who have done something a lot like let's say listening to OK Computer 5,000 times and then turning around and telling people, you know what, the Benz is actually a secret masterpiece. And to be clear, that's me. Well, I've done that, and I
I
say
don't
that,
disagree, but
and I
yeah, that's
believe that.
yeah.
But and I but also when I listen to the album, I see how that's possible, right? Like, but I just haven't gone. I haven't lived and loved the Frank Sinatra catalog enough to appreciate this album the way that it probably is appreciated by people who know that it's good, right? Who know that
Yeah.
it's extremely good. That is.
And we come back to this conversation, time and time again, especially when it comes to some of these more classic, iconic acts. Like, it's come up that there's no Queen album on here, because Queen has so many good songs, that are scattered amongst the albums. And I guess I think it's the narrative that drives this one on Frank. You know, there's not the big, commercial over the head song on this one, but it's just, the birth of the 12 inch. You
Yeah.
know, the that concept of this is almost a concept album in many ways. And just like everything leading into it and how it boosted his career. Like
Yeah, all that
it
stuff
it
is
gets
extremely
points
interesting.
beyond the music, like
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you can't necessarily put the album with My Way on there just
Yeah.
because maybe it has My Way and then what else is on it,
Yeah.
So this is probably the most start to finish cohesive thing. If it was
Yeah,
like
I
a top 500 songs, like yeah, maybe he has more in that range.
yeah, something a piece of homework that I should have assigned before now, but that we should probably follow up on. Let's message our enemy contacts and be like, who who got this on the list?
That had
we should
crossed my mind too. I
Yeah.
think I was talking to Kyle about that. Just the idea of the weighted vote, and
Yeah.
if like one person
Yeah,
had
I would
had this album to
guess.
get them through a breakup and put it at like number three,
Yeah,
all
I
of a
would guess
sudden,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I would guess that there's one person who had it at like 2 or 1 or something
right.
like that.
Like, is it exactly?
Because it
Is it
ends up
really
at
on
what's
half
the
the
number? It's like
staff's
374 or something like
right?
that.
So it's on
Um,
there. It's not like top. Obviously, it's
yeah.
not top 100 or anything where
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
number
this is a
374.
unanimous.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
that's really
got
interesting.
points, but not a lot, So
Yeah.
maybe that suggests a couple of people or just one really high vote.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'll tell you the one track that was a standout for me is Can't We Be Friends?
mhm.
Mostly because that's the one that kind of breaks out of the sort of um, you know 50s Disney animated sound.
Yeah, yeah,
No fault of theirs. That is the sound of back then. But
exactly.
that's the one that I hear more in an actual jazz club. Like
Yes.
I wonder how much more I would have liked this because they talked about that he has that core band which is like a jazz five piece basically, but then they dress it up a lot with the orchestra and things like that. And I'm like, what if I could hear all this with just the jazz band, right? And like that's the one that kind of sounds like that to me.
Well,
It's
and on that note, yeah, I'd be interested to like hear if there's a live run through of this. It might give it a little bit more like emphatic, you know,
yeah,
energy to the music itself.
yeah, that'd be an interesting thing to look up to see if there's live performances of any of these tracks that we could find. But yeah, that one, it's a little more upbeat. It's not as I mean, it's purposeful and it's mission accomplished, but the album is kind of sleepy. Like you put on I think the very first track is the title track, the In the Wee Small Hours. Um, and yeah, like you can, much like Grievous Angel, you get what this album's about within the first like 5 seconds of putting it on. Like if you are if you're listening to our episodes and you don't always listen to the full album, you know, this one I feel like you can put on like for 30 seconds, and then you've probably got about 80% of what's going on here.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and it's a short listen, and I mean, again, like this is a me thing, So to those offended, like I'm sorry, but yeah, it's just a little monotonous. I think the one that I liked a lot was "Glad to Be Unhappy." I think
Yeah,
that's the second track on there,
there's yeah,
and there's just and yeah, I don't know if we mentioned it already because we're recording this part a day later, but a lot of this is songs pulled from like the Great American Songbook, so
yeah.
it's not
No, I don't
necessarily
think we
even
mentioned that.
yeah, it's not even necessarily Frank's lyrics per se. I do like the lyrics on that one, and he performed it very well. But it's interesting in a sense too that like yes, it's a concept album, but a lot of it's almost a cover concept album, if that
Yeah,
makes sense,
they're like standards that he's pulled together,
to tell it
and
to tell a story,
yeah, to
right?
tell a story, and then to also in the arrangement to frame them a certain way,
Right.
which again is very interesting. But then, sadly, for at least for us, like the concept and the idea is very interesting. And then you put it on, you're like, yeah, okay, that's a
Well,
Frank, that's a
yeah,
Sleepy Frank album.
I clicked on the Wikipedia page for Glad to Be Unhappy, and there's like immediately 18 other recordings of it. The
Oh
Mamas and
yeah,
Papas did a version. There's even a Nels Klein version, Chris Bodie with John Mayer, like all these, for since 1939 when it was written. It was a Rogers and Hart song.
yeah.
So, I mean,
I feel like Dancing on the Ceiling is another one that was kind of like that for me, where there, besides Can't We Be Friends, there are ones that feel you know, just like Glad to Be Unhappy. There's like there is interesting like poetry going on in a lot of these too, and those ones are interesting in that way too. Like Dancing on the Ceiling was one of those. I want to say, um,
yeah, and the only one like originally credited in writing to Frank was the last track on there, "This Love of Mine," and that was written when he was with Tommy Dorsey, so 14 years prior.
interesting.
So again, kind of pulling in stuff from all over to tell a story.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, before we
Well,
incriminate ourselves further and
yeah,
get a mob hit sent after us, let's escape.
yeah. I mean, well, hang on. I mean, is Frank himself working his way into your listening habits? Do you think?
You know, maybe.
Yeah,
Like there's some. I mean, one of the effects. I think one of the effects of running into an album like this is that I think there's going to be other Frank stuff I pop into in the near future, but also in the far future. This one's kind of gonna be in the back pocket, perhaps when we go over like more jazz stuff
yeah.
to come back to and be like, do I appreciate this any more, or even just with like a little more age, you know?
I think it also it helps to inform other things too. Like you
Hmm.
mentioned Tom Waits pulling a lot of
Oh yeah,
reference from this and
yeah.
inspiration. Like, I think
Especially the
next
Tom
time,
Waits album that we did. Like
right, right.
there's yeah, you can hear the
We can
influence.
listen to both now and just kind of be like, oh, right, I get where this is going. I get what
Hmm.
he saw in this, and I see how
Hmm.
he paid homage to it. The
Yeah,
one thing that's funny is like
I I was
I'm
gonna say
guessing by the
I kind of feel like the Tom Waits album is like um it's like the Evil Dead 2 to this album's Evil Dead.
the market correction, exactly, totally.
Yeah, yeah, like if yeah, in the current moment, if I feel like listening to this album, I will go to uh the and I'm blanking on the Tom Waits that we covered.
I Yeah,
It's
the one we
it's
did,
even got a
yes.
similar title. But yeah, like if I'm in the mood for In the Wee Small Hours, I will probably go over to yeah, the Tom Waits debut.
Tom, hold
We'll
on, we
get it.
just have to have it. Closing time,
What
right?
terrible historians and archivists we are that we
What
can't even
I
remember
mean,
what.
it's daylight savings morning. Our
Oh
brains
yeah,
are still
yeah,
coming too. For those
yeah.
out there listening in the future,
This is session two, trying to kill it
yeah.
off.
But Tom Waits' closing time is the album.
There we go. Closing. Yeah, how did I forget? We spent like
I
an
know,
entire like
I
2 weeks
know,
making closing time
I
jokes
know.
and
And talking about Tom Waits and learning about Tom Waits and
yeah,
I don't know. I guess some plants kill memory or something like that. I don't know
yeah.
what it is.
Could be, could
Yeah,
be.
it could be.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, my one thought, like, I don't know. I'd love to hear. I'm more inclined to put on like a live thing, and in here I'm kind of in his element.
yeah. Once you
Some of
mentioned that,
the
I
YouTube videos, have been kind of fun to watch and seeing like on Carson and um,
yeah,
just the personality himself. Like I think is very endearing, and I think by the end of the year, my Spotify Wraps probably going to have My Way in the top 10. I listened to it probably 15 times the day you talked about doing a little karaoke for it, just trying to see if I
yeah,
can get it down.
very yeah,
And there's the the part of it where he just has that little pause before he says, "And I did it." my way.
Yeah.
It's like so damn hard for me to nail for whatever reason. Like I have to
Oh
sit there,
yeah.
like even if I'm driving and singing, I will take my hand off and like clap, so that way I can give myself that pause. And it's just I listen to it so many times trying to get it, and I'm just so frustrated with it. But a great song nonetheless. And yeah,
Well, have you ever seen um there's YouTube videos where people there's the Whitney Houston song I will always love you, where
mm,
it has a similar moment where she lets it, like the music lets it hang, and then like there's a big old tom hit, like boom, and
hmm
there's like YouTube videos of people trying to do the same thing where they write out the pause and they try and hit it, like they try and hit like at the
yeah,
exact same time as the tom. I
yeah.
I have no context for it, but I've seen one where there's a there's a girl with a literal like giant tom drum in the middle of a school auditorium at what looks like a Jesus, what do they call those when you get everybody in a school assembly?
Assembly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in the, she's on the floor of a school assembly, and that part of the song is on, and she and she nails it, and the whole place goes crazy.
I was gonna say that'd be like the best singular like Andy Kaufman level like talent show act, just to go on there to like, hit
Yeah,
that
just listen
one
to the whole
note.
song and then go.
Yep, perfect, nailed it. Yeah, no, it's been a fun one. I think we talked about it too. Like it's a odd departure from UK electronic binging, so this is definitely complete opposite direction, but fun all the same. And I don't know. I don't think we have another Frank on the list, so I don't know if we'll be revisiting
Yeah,
him.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, so
Whoever it was that got him on there put all their eggs in one basket, apparently.
totally. That doesn't mean we can't listen to him on our own free time though.
Yeah, we'll
But
let you know.
yeah, I don't know. Let's close the book on Frank. You hungry at all?
I'm a little peckish.
Well, I think your friend Tony just stopped by and dropped
Oh,
some ribs off here. So
yeah.
maybe maybe for
There's a
our
knock at the door.
yeah, maybe for meet me in the bathroom this week, we'll do a little bit of Chinese ribs, and we're probably going to move off of Substack, due to their politics and way in life. So, whatever the
Yeah,
new
yeah. We need to
blog,
move. Apparently, we need to move off Spotify,
yeah,
Substack. uh,
existence, planet Earth, this
yeah,
country, yeah,
America.
yeah. You
We're
can't win them
trying. We'll,
all.
we'll do
Yeah,
it.
can't
We'll,
win
we'll
them
do what
all.
we can.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get back on the food blog this week or next, and have a new recipe up there for some Tony's ribs in your face.
Yeah, yeah. Tony's flying in your face.
Tony's flying in your face Chinese ribs. That's right. At 3 o'clock in the morning when Frank's walking out of the copa.
Yeah, so fine. Yeah, we'll check the episode description. We'll find another microblogging site. I'm sure is
Oh yeah.
not the hardest thing to do.
No, WordPress or whatever. Who knows? Maybe I'll just put the recipe right in the show notes on Spotify.
Yum, yum.
There you go. Well, cool. Shall we take a little trip into the multiverse?
Yeah, let's go. Where's Viz?
Multiverse.
Or
Where is Viz?
Wanda? Wanda, where are you? Yeah, she's
Oh,
she's usually on cue, but
hold on. She is.
you got to give. She does have a
It's
day
this
job,
daylight
so you
savings
gotta.
time thing, Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
Okay.
can't blame anyone this morning for.
Okay. Yes, Miss.
Okay, is
All
she
right.
here?
Here we go. She's here.
Okay,
Okay.
Wanda,
Are you ready?
you're on.
You ready?
What do you know about the multiverse?
The multiverse. Fizz had his theories. He believed it was real and dangerous.
Well, he was right about both.
That
All
was
right.
that
So
was
in
a little
this,
that was a little
yeah.
sexist of me to only blame Wanda for the
I mean, let's be
for the
honest.
delay there.
It
Mr.
was
Strange
eggs.
is
Yeah.
is the one who
It was
kicks that
eggs
off. So
Benedict Cumberbuns there. So we know
Doctor Strange.
we know who's he didn't go to
Called him Mr.
people
Strange.
medical school for 7 years to be called Mister.
Okay.
Yes, but anyhow, in this segment of the show, we break out the old Eye of Agamotto on loan from the Sorcerer Supreme himself to peer into alternate universes to see what might have been if this podcast was about a different list, like, say, the Rolling Stone Top 500 songs. We are on number 374. So that would be Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. It's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so for individual songs, I wrote a little note down here that Orville Peck and fellow bassy new country guy Paul Cawthon do a kind of team up cover of that song that's very well done. And I'm gonna keep shoehorning Orville Peck into the show until he becomes a guest.
We'll
I think
just
we could
keep
get
emailing and saying we're
someday.
going to do Graham Parsons. Yeah.
There's got to be some. Yeah, yeah. We'll just pretend like, oh no, we never did Graham Parsons. You can.
Yeah,
You can come on.
we delete that one. So when you
I
say
mean,
new
there's.
country, is that like rap and country, or is that like metal and country?
Yeah, it's you drop C on your guitar and you drop C on a Telecaster basically.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Top 500 songs on the NME list would be "Love Action," "I Believe in Love" by the Human League.
Ah.
Nice
Oh,
one there.
okay.
I watched
Is
it.
that why you were getting into the Human League this week? I didn't
No,
spoil myself on the list. So.
um, interestingly enough, I put on like a documentary about synths,
Oh, that's right.
and then I put on a second one called Synth Britannia that told like the whole story of like the rise of synths in the UK and how it kind of informed like the pop music scene. You know, it goes a lot into like Human League, Gary Newman, Depeche Mode, and everything like that. Yeah, it was a really good documentary. I definitely recommend it if you get the chance. Top 500 albums on Rolling Stone, number 374 would be Robert Johnson, King of the Delta Blues, the man who
Okay.
started the myth himself of selling his soul to the devil for them guitar picking skills there.
Well, he ended up on the top 500, so
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'd say it worked. I don't know if he was around long enough to appreciate it, but it definitely worked. Kind of that, careful what you wish for. You're appreciated, but you're not here to appreciate it. You're appreciated.
yeah, yeah.
Do you ever give this guy a listen?
Yes, I've definitely heard Robert Johnson tracks, but now, yeah, now I've got an album I can
Yeah.
go to check out. So yeah, I'll
It's
give that a shot.
very, I think you talked about it a little bit ago with Frank kind of being the trendsetter, so to speak, on some things. And Robert Johnson, it feels that same way of like what I'm listening to from 100 years ago doesn't sound that advanced or that amazing, but
But it's
1926, yeah, this is
yeah,
something else altogether. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, hopefully it's not a spoiler alert for anyone coming up, but I feel like next week we have an album that we're pretty already familiar with,
Hmm.
so there may be time to check other things out. So I'll put
Yeah.
that on the queue.
Yeah. Next week is a great, don't even need to look it up as much
Something
as
that
just
we've
sit down
lived
at a
with
bar
for
and
quite a while.
yeah,
Something that
exactly.
everybody should have at this point lived with for quite a while. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, whether or not you're of a certain age and it was part of the lexicon, that's we'll get into that next week for sure.
yeah.
Top grossing movies of all time, number 374 is Ice Age Collision Course that grossed $408 million. Are you
You
guys
know
much of an Ice
which?
Age family or?
Oh, 1 second. Yeah, we didn't finish yesterday. We're super close to finishing. Okay.
Is there a
We
mark?
are not an Ice Age family. I was about to ask, like, which one is that? That doesn't even have a number on it. So is it like a side Ice Age
Yeah.
or?
Let's see. The fifth in the Ice Age film series. Wow, I didn't
Jesus,
even know they
okay.
had
So
that
yeah,
many.
so they were getting embarrassed kind of, and they're like, we're not going to put numbers on these anymore.
Yeah, exactly. We're just gonna keep selling you the same characters in different
Fifth
packaging.
Ice
It's all
Age.
good.
Did they
Yeah.
ever get out of the Ice Age? Or they like, do they,
Um,
are they going to do like Paleozoic?
I don't know. Are they gonna call this the Ice Age in American history?
Like, uh, they ought to.
Hold on, we've just been canceled. We'll be back shortly under a new name and show. The IGN top
They were
500
already at the
mass.
door for
Yeah,
the Wanda thing, and now they're coming in. We're in
exactly.
trouble.
Yeah, now
How
the
about it?
suits are here.
Ooh, really?
Sorry, Barry Weiss. Sorry. The top 500 mathematically derived video games, according to IGN, was Outrun 2, the Sega-developed Ferrari racing game for Xbox and arcade. That's a fun one.
Interesting. I didn't clock there that it was an Xbox. I would have assumed that Outrun 2 was just a straight up like arcade Sega Genesis era thing, but
Yeah, I think it was
so now
right in that
I'm not sure I've
early.
played Yeah, I'm not sure I've actually played Outrun 2. I mean, probably. But I've definitely played Outrun 1 a whole lot. Like that.
Mhm.
That's one of those go-tos when I get an emulator running where I'm like, let's test Outrun.
Mhm. This will see if this thing's working or not.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a really good if you have like a portable emulator player. That's a really good one to pick up and play.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, top 500 music videos, according to MTV, 1997, Eric Clapton's Layla Unplug. Or I'm sorry, the list came out in 1997, I should say. But that was the Layla Unplugged music video from his acoustic session.
I mean, it couldn't have been far off, right? Like,
No, I think I want to say that was like 92, 93. So pretty close by there. That's if you had to pick one of them to listen to, would you go with the original or the unplugged version? Like if you had to listen to it for an hour on repeat?
probably the original. I mean, there's other
Yeah.
stuff from the unplugged that I like, but
Yeah,
you gotta have the riffing going on, and
totally. I mean,
gotta have a little dirt on that one.
yeah, and the piano breakdown is always, my favorite part towards the end too. Top 540 guitarists of all time, according to Ranker.com. No Guitar Magazine, I think, goes that big.
And these are all number 374s. on this
Correct.
list, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes. This is a new one for me. The gentleman's name is Bert Jens, and I have no idea if I even butchered that. Scottish is not my forte, but he is a Scottish-British folk guitarist, a big influence on Jimmy Page, Neil Young, Nick Drake, and is a member of the group Pentangle.
yeah. Pentangle. That's not a great band name.
No, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's 3,
we-
maybe.
We're running out of band names, period. But
Pentangled
probably
up
could have
in
left on the
blue.
shelf for a
Yeah.
while there.
Yeah, I mean, considering this is like the 60s, he could have probably done a little bit better,
Yeah. Okay, so here's something that maybe we can do during the multiverse now and going on into the future. Of all these 374s, are there any of them that you would have had a much funner time with than if we really were doing an alternate, if we really
Yeah.
are looking at one of those alternate universe, are there any one of those that you're like, yeah, that would have been fun to do?
I think Robert Johnson would have been fun just because there is a cool story that I don't feel like I know well enough. But I also think like the Human League, something I'm a little familiar with, but I don't know much about, admittedly. So just learning, that whole scene in that era. I mean, just this week watching that documentary, kind of like how much I didn't even know, I'd never even heard and never even heard of. And like I walked away with it like, now I think Gary Newman is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and just a whole different world of music there. So yeah, either of those would, I think, be a lot of fun to look into.
Yeah, I think I mean, we're getting more and more of them now on YouTube, but it still feels like there's not a ton of behind the scenes stories and history on video games. So I think it would have been kind of cool to peer into like the making of Outrun 2 and the situation over at Xbox and Sega.
Well, I was gonna say,
making it.
I think that's, if memory serves, that's a really interesting time in like Sega's history, is they're probably done with the consoles at that point and shifting solely
Yeah,
to game
they're
design.
looking around going like, can we survive as somebody
Right.
who's not making their own
Microsoft's here,
console?
Sony's here, Nintendo's still here. Like,
Yeah, and
how
I
do
think, and I think even going back to, I don't know about the 16-bit era, but somewhere after that, the situation basically becomes that the companies are not making money on their consoles, but they are making money on games, and
Software,
they're making a
right.
ton of money on games where you can't get them on anything but your console, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be an interesting bit of history to look into.
Definitely. No, I
But
mean that
yeah,
whole
sorry if
Sega
you're
against the
wanting,
world. Yeah.
yeah, if you're wanting asides about video games, you've come to the wrong podcast. Sorry, you're never gonna get those
Yeah.
here.
I mean, but
Definitely not on the last episode.
No, I guess not. Well,
Yeah.
with that, we should step back into our own universe and maybe look at where we're heading next here.
Yeah. So let
So
me,
we knocked out
read me off.
Frank.
Yeah, read me off again what we've got coming up.
What we alluded to being, the big one for us coming up is the Strokes. Is This It? Is the next album on our list.
the next-
However,
that's
we
the next
might have a
episode.
special episode before that next week. After that, we have the Blue Tones, Expecting to Fly, followed by LCD Sound System's Sound of Silver, and Joni Mitchell's Blue is our newest entry onto the list.
All right. Let's do this the traditional way. I'm going to pop open the random number generator. I'm going to
Yes.
assure everybody that I'm looking at 1 through 500.
The Prankster's Bible.
My co-host Helio is showing off the sleeved copy of the actual NME magazine top 500. Ooh.
The plunder I had to go through to get this. Yes.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
Well,
gonna
should we
that
have a
one
little,
PSA graded? It's been pod now.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
At least not highlighted yet.
I'm gonna
Should we
start
do a little
rolling numbers here.
little mood music?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. What do we got?
right.
What do we got this week?
I'm starting to like these. Kidding, I'm not. All right, when you stop the music, I'll stop the numbers.
All right.
Or
Let's
we
give
can
5
just
more seconds.
Dwell, yeah, we can just dwell here.
All right. There we go.
Number 243. Have we done 243 before?
I
I don't keep
don't
track of those very
Think
well. But
so. I'll let you know momentarily.
okay.
This could
that was
either
an
be
interesting-
good or this could be vetoed.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, yeah, let's see. I've got my
So-
key in, but I haven't turned it. So
Yeah.
what was it? 243?
So last week's-
All right,
Last week's was Joni Mitchell Blue. This week's is The Hissing of Summer Lawns by Joni Mitchell. So,
oh, okay.
yeah, kind of one of those, like, do we go for it and knock out multiples? Are we interested enough? Or do
At
we
the same time.
put that one back in the pile?
No, let's. Yeah, nice try. Very nice try, Joni.
Yeah.
Interesting that read off the description at least. Let's
Yeah.
give her her moment at least for
You can have your flowers. Yeah.
magically landing twice in a row here.
Totally. Mixing elements of folk, jazz, classical, and rock, Mitchell drew on evocative tales and visual lyrics to paint a Grammy-nominated picture.
All right. Well,
I mean, the Grammys also
someday.
gave Jethro Tull an album for metal, or an
Yeah.
award for metal. So,
well, someday. I'll roll the number
All right.
again. Here we
let's hold on. As per tradition, let's get some
go. Yeah.
some music
Give me
on
little
here.
tunes here. One more
Yeah.
time. One more time.
One more time.
This is a good week for this one.
Right.
If anyone's into either wrestling or video games, check out the clips going around from WWE 2K6. They have re-implemented ragdoll physics basically,
Yeah.
and they have they've also added a lot of stages with like the ridiculous
Like
top of the
30,
cage
40 foot
and
drops.
further,
Yeah.
yeah, drops.
Yeah.
And yeah, people are finding like, different moves and stuff that will like totally fling people off the top of these things.
Mm-hmm.
The animations and just stuff that happens in them are hilarious. So check that out. But otherwise, I'm about to hit stop.
Do it.
Wow. So we just had 243. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I stopped on 244. So just go ahead and go one up and see if you can give me a description that I
I
try and guess
can.
that maybe.
And I have no idea what the hell this is. So
Oh, great,
that's
okay.
good, I guess.
Oh, that's good.
Blanks third took the experimental idiosyncrasies of the predecessor, Two Dancers, and stripped them back to the barest, most intimate bones.
Yeah, I got no clue. I can't even guess.
It's
This is
by no,
No, you
it's
would've-
by an artist. Yeah, right. I would have said something on that. It's by an artist known as Wild Beasts, and the album is called Smother. It's from 2011.
Interesting. Okay.
I couldn't even tell you what genre that is. Like
Well, they said dance. It might be. I wonder.
Let's see.
And what was it called? Wild Beasts. What?
The artist is Wild Beast. The album is Smother.
So let's look up Wild Beasts and where to find
British
them.
indie rock dream pop band.
Okay, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, so the genre is classified as
2011 indie rock dream pop.
yeah, indie rock,
I'll
indie
take it.
pop, dream pop, and electronica. Okay, that sounds like something that could work for us for sure. I mean, again, it's number 244 on a list of 500. It can't be that bad. Pitchfork gave it an 8.2. That's pretty good.
Oh, yep, I do see that. Okay,
Yeah.
so
All right.
slotted up.
Yeah.
Apologies to Joni Mitchell. You cannot have we can't give you 2 in a row on this. show.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing
There's
personal.
very-
Like,
maybe if like it had happened to. I mean, I don't even know if there's anybody we love enough to do 2 weeks in a row.
I mean, we did Outcast, right? Or did we take a break in between?
I want to say we did a. I want to say we did a Prodigy in
We did
between, but I can't be sure.
Yeah. I think we broke it up somehow. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like, even the electronic stuff, we went different artists instead of just knocking out everybody in a row. So
Yeah.
nothing personal, Joni.
And that wasn't all. That wasn't all our doing.
And we even said no to Bowie once.
Yeah. So really, and
It's
that
not
wasn't
you,
even
it's
two.
us.
That wasn't even 2 in a row either. It was just like 2 that
For
were
a
like too
season.
close.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Okay.
so yeah, that'll be
So-
that'll be on there. But yeah, I think next weekend we'll
Put
we'll
that
do a
on.
little something.
Put that on your playlist. Wild Beasts. Smoke.
Yeah.
I may try.
So
and get
again-
a little out ahead too.
Yeah,
Since,
the
again, next week.
Yeah.
Is this it?
We know. Is this it? The Strokes, the Blue Tones, Expecting to Fly, LCD Sound System, Sound of Silver, Joni Mitchell, Blue, Wild Beast, Smother. The next 5.
All right. Well, we'll see you for those, and another 470 something albums in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's really nice to Bob to come back.
It's a podcast and you can love it. This is the end of Bob and Jay.
Thanks, Bob. Hey.
All right.
bonus
Take care,
for
everybody.
Anybody hanging out with us this late. Good night.